Hey, what's up, beautiful people? Today is February 9th, and here is your daily energy report. We are looking at an exact conjunction between Pluto and Mercury. So, this day, and with the moon being in Libra now, it's going to be opposing Jupiter. This is super big, big, intense energy. This could be Trigger Town, USA, not gonna lie. Mercury and Pluto together at 28 degrees of Capricorn is looking at the foundations of our lives. And really, like the things that are not in our highest vibrational good are going to start to fall apart. We're going to be triggered as fuck if we're in our ego, if we're in our lower vibrational anger state or frustration or irritation. There's there's two different distinct directions that this can go, and we're really all looking at where is our life going, because the world is changing outside as well as inside, as within so without, right? So the information that we're getting right now, especially with the sesquiquadrate over to Mars, that's now at 12 degrees of Gemini, this is a very cerebral, like, what do we want our future to look like? Now, if you're in a place where you're in like victim mentality, where you're just like, I don't want to deal with it, I just want to go escape or lay down and watch Netflix and chill, or I just want to, if you're doing something to escape your reality, universe is gonna fuck you up, man. Um, and if that's what you want, then that's okay. But I would highly recommend that you really, like, now is the time to do the shadow work, to do the inner work of really looking into your heart and feeling the things that you don't want to feel. I've been working with a lot of clients lately that have been really dealing with whether it's heartache or like having these uncontrollable emotions that have been coming up, and like uh seeking out different avenues where they take action, but they're seeking pleasure. We have to be careful of the pleasure pain dynamic, right? Because the shadow work is all about going into the pain in order to feel and open our heart to understand the bigger picture of the pleasure of having the things that we love and trust in our life. But in order to be able to attract things that we trust, we have to trust our hearts, right? So if we're in our mind, if you're locked in your mind and you're super cerebral right now, Mercury is that cerebral energy in conjunct Pluto. It's like the stuff will not leave you alone. Okay. Now, this is a prequel setting us up to the sun conjuncting the Saturn, which is getting closer, as well as Jupiter conjuncting Chiron. We have these things moving closer together that are looking at our wounds and looking at the potential result of us going into our wounds. So when we are willing to step into the fire, to step into the knowingness that, look, I have to feel this, I have to, move through this heartbreak, I have to move through this, this, my, loved one died, or my pet died, or this, changes in my business, or whatever it is that's changing. Because look, everybody's life is changing at a fundamental level, right? The people that are not authentically meant to be in a certain place, but they stay for safety reasons, like because they're financially taken care of. Like, I lived in Vegas for a long time. Chicks with sugar daddies like that are just in it for the money. That's just gonna fall apart. Well, these guys, we see a lot of guys that are really big, right? Like all over social media, that are famous right now, that are just all about like flashing their money and all this bling 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 shit. Behind the scenes, they have a lot of toxicity that they're not addressing. And when someone has a lot of money, or a lot of anything that is not good for them, it will consume itself eventually. This Pluto coming to and hovering around 0 and 29 degrees, 0 degrees of Aquarius, 29 degrees of Capricorn, respectively, throughout the year. This is calling all that shit out. Okay. So, this is why doing the deep inner work, slowly coming out and coming through, facing your fears, and being, brutally honest with yourself, um, to create a life and a life practice. I don't like lifestyle. I like life practice, because life is a practice, right? We never perfect anything. Perfection is a fucking illusion. So as we step into this life practice of doing the inner work, of connecting to our inner child, of allowing our creative energy to flow freely and to express itself in its most vulnerable yet healthy boundary like state, which is a state of love within the self. then those are the things that are going to test the time, because we magnetize the things, people, places, things that we can trust, that support us, that love us, that have our best interests at heart, that see our highest, potential. When we're in a more authoritarian state, or if you're doing great in one area of your life, but you're slack in this other area, all those areas in life that you are either ignoring or spiritually bypassing or struggling or just dissociating from, all that stuff is going to be called, and especially today with the moon opposed to Jupiter, this is like, seeing everything in our reality is going to be a reflection, especially connected to this Pluto and Mercury. We're going to see and feel, wow, that reminds me of this part of my life that's so unhappy, or that reminds me of like the thing that I don't have, right? You'll look on social media and you'll see, like, I hate all these people that are happy in happy relationships when your heart is broken, so what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna go out and get another notch on your belt, or are you gonna actually own your shit and feel your heart? Like I've been hearing lately, floating around, like, checking out these different YouTube channels and stuff, like chicks and dudes both talking about how many people you slept as a body count. Like, how negative is that, right? Like, what's your body count? Are you fucking kidding me? Like if you're still living in that place where you have that vernacular and you speak to yourself that way, you need quite a reality check, my friend. So, clearly you're not respecting yourself at all, man or woman. And don't even get me into the whole gender thing. But the fact is, the divine feminine and divine masculine, right? We just went through a Venus square Mars, and now Venus is moving through, getting closer to Neptune, which is our safe place, which is where, like, the universe is like, if you fall, I'll catch you, right? If you surrender, if you let go, you're going to be okay, but it's going to be unexpected. You're not going to really, you're going to have to, like, that control dynamic that is holding you on to the safety that makes you feel safe in your life, but isn't it? But that's an illusion, because it's based in fear, right? We have to go into the masculine part, or we're still, because remember, Mars is still coming out of shadow, and it still has a square to Neptune that it has to make here in about a month. So we're still building up to that finalization of that lesson about the boundaries in our lives, about the people that we have in our lives, about the direction that we're going. And the ones that are going to last, the ones that are going to make it, are the ones that are creating a life based in love, in self-love. It's the highest vibration we can have, but that is where it's going to be protected. Pluto is sitting at 29 degrees. Any secrets, any things that you're lying to yourself about, any stuff that is not ethically and morally sound from a frequency of love, is going to be brought up to the surface, to be called out and be shown to the world, because the matrix is essentially eating itself. Okay, so don't get caught up in the self-mutilation energy, or the self or all-consuming energies of the stuff that you hide from yourself and you keep from yourself, and that you don't want to admit to yourself. You have to be honest. And this Mercury conjunct Pluto is saying, where are you not being honest with yourself, and when are you going to look at it? Because if you continue to choose not to look at it, it is going to eat you alive. It is going to get more and more painful. It's going to create dis-ease in the body, okay? Because we are elevating, and the universe, like, saying, look, it is time to grow, or it's time to go. You cannot bring these lower vibrational energies up into this higher frequency, and the higher frequency is where all the success is going to be happening. So this is why we see so many of these power structures crumbling, because, like, just like back in 2007, 2008, when we had Pluto going from Sagittarius into Capricorn, right? I think it was a whole Enron thing and the collapse of the financial system. All the people that were doing things, under, pushing stuff under the rug and hiding things, all the stuff from since 2008 till now that has been built, if it has not been built from full transparency, full ethics, morals, and values of the highest vibration and love, it is going to be knocked down. I guarantee you. Okay. And the process is not going to be fun, because, like, it's going to last almost a year. So, like, you could end up going to court, you could end up doing time, you could end up doing, whatever it is that you end up doing, you gotta clear the energy out. however it is that you do that, get right with yourself, get right with the divine, get right with your connection to source energy, to the great spirit, and make sure that you're living in your 100% authentic truth. And that means stop chasing the pleasure and start facing your fears and start facing the imbalances and discomforts you have in your body, in your mind, in your soul, and things are going to go good for you. Okay. So I pray that you that you receive this message, from with an open heart, and it gets you to think, like, because we need more people that are doing this kind of inner work. And if you're interested in getting a reading for me, my email is in the description box below. Go ahead and email me, and we can talk one-on-one. I'm getting my whole system all set up right now, so I'll have a more mainline platform, if you will, here in the next week or so. Okay. So if you know anybody that would receive some guidance from this message, please share it with them. Like, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next video. Aho.